Look, I'm not. Hey,
I got bitter. I
good.
got replaced like
He thought it was hilarious.
out for an injury.
Yeah. Speaking of injury,
I'm doing fine. Thanks.
Yes.
For asking.
Speaking of injury, let's talk about the injured knee.
I had my
surgery went well.
Surgery went good. I'm a $6 million man.
$6 million man.
Yeah, I'm good. It's fine. I'm
So now you can walk without blowing out a knee.
So, well, give me a few days, but yeah, we'll get there. And it can change just like that. Just like that.
So the reason why I am so excited today is we are lucky enough to have both of our good friends. Brian Kramer is here from the state attorney's office. He is the state attorney. He used to run the state attorney's office, and recently during the last election, we helped him become the state attorney. And I was a main driving force. Charlie and
obviously.
I basically, reached out to those on Facebook and got like 8 million votes. And actually, we didn't even vote, did we? We really.
Well, no, not technically.
Technically, we didn't vote. So
can we take a moment and enjoy that introduction, by the way, Brian?
Yes. So, welcome to the show, Brian Kramer. Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
We're excited to have you. We have lots to talk about today.
I'm concerned.
What are we concerned about?
I'm concerned for Brian. Listen, that wasn't funny. This is serious. Like, we are idiots. Brian is a man of importance.
Oh, no
he
doubt.
happens to be our friend, and he knows things about us.
He's smart.
He's smart.
He's
the state attorney.
He's got his stuff together.
I'm going on record. This is a terrible idea for him.
Yes.
We are idiots. Brian, you have
political risk.
It is risky,
but
man.
It's one I'm willing to take.
It's risky.
He probably won't say anything bad.
Elio is giving me a little button, though, that I can mute the mics whenever necessary, because I feel like we could venture into topics that are dangerous waters. Sure.
All right, so today is May 11th, 2020, which means it is National Eat What You Want Day.
Yes.
And I know I ate what I want. I had pizza for lunch, and I grabbed a thing of ice cream out of the freezer, and I'm sitting there eating it in my house, and my wife looked up, and she goes, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, well, yeah, it's a true story. I said, well, it is National Eat What You Want Day. She's like, oh, my God, what are you, 12? And
wait, but like you don't eat what you want every other day.
I do, but today I can celebrate the fact that it's National Eat What You Want Day. So did you eat what you want today?
I did.
Yeah.
I did. I had a hamburger for lunch.
Nice.
That's what I wanted.
Nice.
Hey, you got to celebrate. It's a National Eat What You Want Day.
I have not eaten yet really much today, so I'm going to make sure my evening counts, I guess.
I've got plenty of reserve, so
I'm coming over for ice cream.
Come on. Well, I ate it all, so it's gone. It's also National Twilight Zone Day. I was never a big Twilight Zone guy, so.
What is National Foam Rolling Day? That's like those foam rollers at the gym?
Yes. You
that's
ever done
a day?
It hurts.
It can hurt.
It hurts.
But that's like an actual day.
Yeah, that's what it says. Now, if you're fat like me, it really hurts because the fat weighs you down onto the foam roller. When you're 6'4" and fat, it's not a.
No, it hurts. I get it. Yeah, but I'm with you.
National Women's Checkup Day. So for all you ladies out there that are watching, go get checked up. Whatever that means, it's National Women's Checkup Day. So go get your checkup.
Where's that mute button? I feel like
I'm going down the wrong path.
We're right there.
Territory.
We're right there.
So, positive quote of the day. Here's the positive quote of the day. I hate that word, lucky. It cheapens a lot of hard work. And that was from Peter Dinklage, who is an American actor and producer. And he received acclaim for portraying...
you don't watch this show, so I'm
not at all. Tyrion Lannister of the HBO television series Game of Thrones.
Did you watch that?
Some of it.
Oh, yeah.
Is it good?
You'd hate it.
Yeah, it doesn't sound.
I don't think it's up your cup of tea.
It's not golf.
Business, golf, or boating.
Golf, fishing.
Crown Royal.
No boating.
Insurance.
Yeah, insurance.
You've never watched anything else in my presence.
I don't think Game of Thrones is any of that.
I think you're right, dude. I don't think he has.
Nope.
That's all he ever watches.
Yeah.
I'll watch Caddyshack, but that's golf.
It's golf.
It's a golf.
Animal House.
Yeah.
That was pretty good.
But that was like your fraternity in college.
It's the extent of my movie watching. That's why he's here. He's watched every movie that's ever been made.
I try.
And he knows quotes, and he can...
What about Happy Gilmore?
Happy Gilmore I've seen 37
golf
times.
Movie, good. Yep. All right.
But he's seen all the movies. And most of the time, he can, imitate the people in the movie too. You do a good job, but you can
Thanks,
imitate lots of things.
I'm weird. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
It's good.
All right. So we're to the sales tips. See, we like to do some sales tips for
Have you
folks.
watched this show at all?
No, man.
No, he has, of course not. That's why
So he has no
I didn't even
idea.
ask him that. I already knew the answer to that.
Well, you never know. He could have been like in preparation.
I'm just going down the list of things we usually talk about on the
Sure.
show, and I thought it was apropos that we talk about 5 tips for being a legal salesperson. So I guess, does that mean an attorney, which we talked a little bit about this last night. Give me your take on being an attorney and being a salesperson and how those two mesh together. Because
I think it's true that in any job as an attorney, you are selling something. So what we are generally selling is to a jury. We're selling a criminal case, trying to convince them that this is a case that meets the legal standards, proof beyond a reasonable doubt. That is a sales job in a sense, because you're trying to take things, you're trying to shape them into a presentation that's the best presentation for your particular product, and that is really sales and persuasion to me are very much the same thing. And I think that's what we're doing. But and it occurs in all aspects of our job. Whether you're trying to develop a plea negotiation, or you're trying to work with a law enforcement officer, or whatever it is you may be, you're generally trying to persuade someone to your position.
Yeah,
and
and it's a
what
big
sales is.
part of it. And I don't know that attorneys are considered great salespeople usually.
Well,
It depends, I
what
guess.
it depends what it is you want to buy.
I mean, I don't know, but I don't think of many attorneys as great salespeople. So I thought these tips might be help to some people out there that, that maybe. Tip number one, be available.
Absolutely.
Which, attorneys are sometimes not available.
It's true. An
And-
attorney gets paid for their time and their advice, and if you're doing well, someone has taken up almost all of your time.
And it's hard to, yeah. So those attorneys that maybe aren't filling their caseload or filling their docket,
More, you need to be available to your client.
be available to your client. So that's tip number one. Tip number two, pick up the phone. Okay? Pick up the phone is a huge part of being able to sell things. I know in my office, we need to pick up the phone, and we do a great job of picking up the phone. But when we do pick up the phone, sales seem to happen. So same thing with
And
an
I think that
attorney.
one of the things that happens in our business is that there's a tendency to want to rely on impersonal forms of communication, and people don't realize how important it is to have face-to-face voice communication with other people because of the inherent weaknesses of written communication, text, email, things like that. It just doesn't come through
No.
in the way that that you're trying to deliver the information. It just doesn't come through on a text or anything.
That is such a common issue right now, though, not just in that
Huge.
industry, but in all sales industries where we are so reliant on email or text message even, or where we do avoid, people are trying to avoid that personal contact as opposed to, I think the way we were brought up on sales is that relationship is everything. It's the only thing that matters because anybody can send an email, anybody can send a text, but building that relationship is critical. So it's interesting. I think that I never would have thought about it from
Control the tone.
Absolutely.
And the more personal the relationship is, the more important it is that it not be a written communication.
Yeah.
So when we are talking with our most sensitive relationship, which are victims for us, we really want people to pick up the phone. We don't want you emailing and texting with victims. We want people to reach out, talk to them, listen to them, hear what they have to say. Giving someone your time is your most valuable asset, and when you give that to them, that's important.
Well,
And it leads right to the next one, which is building relationships.
exactly.
Which
Build
is
a relationship.
Such a huge part of what I think, we talked a few weeks ago about how Tom Hopkins talks about every sale is an emotional sale, whether it's what he's talking about or what we're doing. And you got to build that relationship in order to have any trust there. So I think that makes perfect sense.
Absolutely. Number 4 is one of my favorites. If you want to be a great salesperson, listen. Listening is really important to not, we talked about this a couple shows ago, but don't go into a presentation and throw up a bunch of features and benefits all over them, and then they never ask you a question.
Yeah, no.
They never get a word in edgewise. And there's so many salespeople out there that do that. The key is to being a great salesperson is listening. And I know in your role, I mean, my gosh.
Yeah. Well, in our office, and what we do, prosecution, there is really very little time that you need to be talking, if you think about it, because what we are brokers of information is what it comes down to. We are conveying information. We're bringing it in from victims, witnesses, and law enforcement officers, and we're conveying it out to judges, juries, and defense lawyers and defendants. And so if we spend all our time talking, and it doesn't really matter who it is, or if we spend any significant time talking, doesn't matter who it is, we're just failing in our job because we can't take it in if you keep talking.
Makes sense.
Listen. And the last is ask for the sale, which
You got to ask the pretty girl to dance, dude.
you got to ask the pretty
You
girl
got to
to
ask the
dance.
pretty girl to dance, man, no matter what.
There's no question. If you don't,
For sure.
you're not going to dance. So, and I don't know, I'm not sure how to relate that to, the state's attorney's office, but
Well, when you're in trial and you are in a serious trial, you know that the jury on the other end, they know very well what the consequences are of their actions. And you have to stand up there and you have to ask them to do it. You have to ask them to do something that most people would find to be unpleasant. It's going to result in someone going to prison for a long period of time. In certain circumstances, it could be the loss of someone's life. And you have to ask. You have to stand up there.
is
and
that
say,
usually part of the end of the closing argument is the ask for the sale?
It is.
Sort
You
of
have
piece.
I teach at the law school, I teach trial advocacy, and part of what I teach them is when you get up there and it's time to finish the deal, you have to give them the ask. I call it the ask. What are you asking them to do? Make sure it's very, very clear.
Very clear, and they have to know what to do. It's interesting.
Do you see that he actually has a serious job? Like what we do is not that serious. Dude. He
not
is
at all.
dealing with such important issues as it relates to I'm freaking selling advertising and you're selling an insurance policy.
That's why I've always had a lot of respect for Kramer,
It's
because
incredible,
he'll hang
right?
out with us.
I know. And you're like,
he's actually a real person with real responsibilities, and I love that about him. So
me too, 100%.
But you guys are fun. That's why I hang out with you.
yeah, we are fun.
That's
It's
true.
nothing else.
I think we are
Good
fun.
Lord. All right, so hopefully those 5 sales tips helped you today become a better salesperson. And we have Elios raising his finger. Yes, sir.
You got to chime in.
We've got a comment.
Oh.
Relationships is a form of residual income.
Yeah, indeed.
Nice
Sean.
job, Sean Morrison. Yes, that is absolutely
That's good.
a great point. That relationships are a form of residual income.
Absolutely.
I've got to tell you, I'm surprised there's someone listening.
Well,
Is that serious? Are you freaked out a
I
little bit
didn't know
now?
there was going to be actual people who could
Listen,
respond.
there are
That's
actually
actually-
thousands. It's crazy. Well, I know Elio, I always kid about it, and Elio gets so mad at me. He's like, John, you understand there's actually people out watching. And I go, don't tell me that, I'll get nervous.
And the thing is, that I think the first few weeks it was mom and dad because they
Yeah,
were
it's my
like,
mom.
"Oh, look how cute!" And I think mom and dad stopped watching a long time ago.
Yeah. Oh, my
And now
mom
there's
watches
actual
for
people.
sure.
Still?
Yeah. Oh, hi, Mom. Yeah, she's watching. No question about it. My dad, not so much. But my mom, she is definitely watching. So, all right. Tell us what's going on at the state's attorney's office.
All right.
Tell us a little bit about what you got going and what you're trying to accomplish there.
Absolutely. So, as you mentioned at the top of the show, I won last year in the election to be the next state attorney and the 7th state attorney for the 8th Judicial Circuit. I don't know if you guys know, there have not been a lot of us. So I come to the state attorney's office with about 22 years of prosecution experience. You mentioned that I was the executive director of the state attorney's office for 8 years, about 8.5 years before I became the state attorney. And of course, I also did cases, what we referred to as cases of special interest to the state attorney, which basically meant death penalty cases and officer-involved shootings, which is why you think that my job is so serious, because it is.
That's scary.
Because
I
it
hear
is.
that and I freak out, man. I'm like,
That's scary.
Yeah, but listen, somebody's got to do it.
Somebody's gotta do it.
Somebody's got to do it, and you want somebody who is well trained and who understands the process well to do it, and that's what I do. And I still handle those kind of cases now. But from a more of a perspective of my administration, what we are looking at is kind of this. I think everybody understands that when it comes to rape, robbery, murder, that everyone in the criminal justice system is pretty well versed in looking at those kind of cases, dealing with them, prosecuting them, investigating them. We're all well trained in that. Where we aren't well trained and where I am trying to add some focus to my office is on elder abuse, neglect, and exploitation. So we started this in late 19. We are involved in a grant that's called the Abuse in Later Life Grant, which focuses on training in elder abuse, neglect, exploitation, and where are there gaps in services for those type of cases and the people who are victimized by them. And it's a combination of training of law enforcement, what we call direct service providers, prosecutors, and judges on these kind of issues. And we have a series of partners that we work with that are trying to develop this sort of area of law to bring it to prominence and create prosecution. So if the law enforcement officers don't focus on it, if they aren't aware of it, then we can't get it as prosecutors, right?
Interesting.
Right? So we have partners. We have a group called Elder Options, and that group is the grant manager. They manage all the money and the funding and the training and that type of thing. Peaceful Paths, which is a domestic violence shelter and service provider, they're a partner with us. Of course, our state attorney's office, and then Sheriff Clovis Watson. They're his officers and his detectives. Those folks are working very closely with us, and we're training prosecutors and law enforcement officers. And we have assigned one lawyer who is developing expertise, specializing in those kind of cases. We are looking carefully at what's coming in the door and looking at it and saying, taking a second look. So something that comes in, it says, well, it's a grand theft. Somebody stole something from somebody more than $750. Well, if you start to look at it and you say, well, this person's 80 years old, and the theft was by some kind of deceptive act. We shoot it over to that prosecutor and we say, hey, look at this not as a grand theft, but look at this as an exploitation of an elderly person. And that is a far more serious crime.
Man, and that's such an important issue right now. I feel like, and maybe it's because our parents are older, and so I'm more in tune with that. But as our population continues to age,
right,
and as technology has changed so much, where there's so many more opportunities to be able to take advantage of the elderly, that is an incredible
and it's
area
an area
of focus.
where, if you look at it statistically, the number of cases that are reported, investigated, and then finally prosecuted is frighteningly low. And we're working as best we can to try and change that, because we have lots of really good law enforcement officers, agencies who really are great at detecting the kind of crime that people are afraid of, that they're worrying about every night when they go to bed. Right? It's the ones that, when suddenly something terrible has happened to your mom or your grandma or something like that, and then suddenly you realize, holy crap, there's a lot of people being taken advantage of.
Yeah.
That's really where we're focusing. Two other things is, one is social justice in the office is important. Prosecution is changing. This is changing across the country, and we are changing with it. My office has always been a leader in Florida in social justice issues in progressive prosecution, and we're continuing that. We're focusing on issues like implicit bias in the office. We're focusing on one of the very critical issues, which is parity in prosecution. What factors influence what your sentence might be when this is all over. Like that's, you might think, well, gosh, that should all be fair. Of course, it's always going to be fair. It isn't, and it's something that has to be changed, and we're looking at it. And of course, confirmational bias, which is a real problem with prosecution, because once you set your mind on something, hey, this is the way it is, you look at everything in light of, how do I make it fit into this paradigm of, you are what I think you are. You are guilty of this, or you're not guilty of that. How do you keep people whose job it is to advocate in a courtroom objective in an office, right? That's a critical issue. And then diversity in keeping a diverse workforce. We fully believe that is incredibly important in making sure that we understand the communities that we're affecting in the prosecution that we do. So you have to have people who come from a wide variety of communities who can bring that perspective to the office. And one of the things that we do all the time is, when we're looking at a case, some cases are crystal clear, right? But sometimes a case, you need the perspective of a person who understands the community out of which that case is coming. So we take and we walk cases around. We sit down. We talk with different people from different communities and say, hey, well, where are you on this? What do you think about this?
What do you think about this? How did
Yeah, and I know you have a lot of connection within the Indian or Pakistani community, and those cases that come out of that community, you need that perspective to understand what's going on.
Talk about some big topics. I mean, to be able to talk about really understanding and changing some of those biases that you were talking about, and how you go about understanding how that affects sentencing and your sort of approach to things. That's no small task, man.
No.
Those are huge topics.
And there are no easy answers.
No.
So it's a constant work. It's
Right. This isn't like I'm going to put a policy in place and this is what we're doing from now on.
Right, it's fixed.
And
This
it magically changes.
You're talking about ingrained biases that many people don't even know they have, or
That's right.
or we have. That's
Right. And part of it is, how do you develop tools that we use every day to assist you in doing that? So can we take our case management system and make it tell you, show me 10 cases that look just like this over the last 10 years, and show me the average of what happened in those cases. And then compare what you're doing or what you think is the appropriate thing in this case with those other cases, and go, why am I off by a standard deviation from what happened in this particular case?
Wow.
Really thinking about that and trying to develop that. It's very challenging, and we do have good partners with that. Our public defender's office is an excellent partner. I have a great relationship with the public defender, and we have an open line of communication on those kind of issues, which is great.
No wonder he got elected.
right.
Yeah.
You know what though?
I thought it was just me.
You had a little bit to do with it. I mean,
Yeah,
a little.
Listen, as Sean said, I think relationships
They matter,
their income. I mean, that's
Even
how
in the
you
state's
get
attorney's office.
right?
Yeah.
Which is severely underfunded from what I gather.
All kidding aside, though, I think the thing so can I brag on you for a few minutes?
Please do.
It's kind of I'm smiling over
Yeah,
because it's kind of a
yeah,
proud
we're
moment
friends
that
of a
we're friends
yeah.
of this guy who
Yeah, we're proud of that.
laying out this agenda. I think of
I mean,
things
think
that
of
are
our other
important.
friends.
I know
They've
they're
turned into
idiots
nothing.
like we are. Like I don't get it. So, but I think when you look at those things, I'm
not
proud
true.
of him, right? I'm proud of him, and it's like one of these things where I'm like, guys, that's pretty incredible that you have that agenda you set out, that you set out these goals. But I think the thing that stuck out to me is that first meeting where we all got together to talk about him running, and he kind of amassed some people who he wanted to have as part of his thing, and not everybody was there, couldn't make it. It was just like a random night. It was impressive to me that in that room you had people in our community who were liberal. You had people who were very conservative. You had people who were middle of the road. They all sort of saw Brian as this common somebody they could rally around. And I think that says a lot
impressive.
about you, and that agenda that you're laying out there is exactly that. It's we want to be as appropriate as we can be in these areas of the law and learn where we can. But
Right.
that's
Attack
cool.
all the issues because that's
pretty cool.
They're big issues.
So yeah, you had something to do with it, but so did all those other people.
It was in
right?
his office.
That was
It was in his office.
It was
actually.
in my office.
It was like pub subs there
There
and
was-
stuff. It was great. It was awesome.
All right, Elio, play the Sister Hazel live music update bumper.
What's a bumper?
Yes, so Sister Hazel is okay with it. I've,
your lawyer.
I've cleared as my lawyer.
The lawyer
Yeah.
on the set goes, does Sister Hazel know that you guys do this?
Yes.
And they're okay with it?
Yes, I reached out to Ken. He says, "Fine, talk about Sister Hazel all you want," because I love Sister Hazel. They're my favorite.
Brian, we put ourselves in legal jeopardy every time
every Tuesday
we do
at
this
3
show.
o'clock.
I
Yes.
just those are guys you don't want to mess with.
No.
No, they're my heroes. Whiskey Jones is playing on May 15th at the Great Outdoors.
I'll be sitting on a stool with my knee up, and we'll be playing this Saturday at Great Outdoors. I mean, we can't talk about the live music update without talking about the fact that we were in a band together. And I say were, and I mean we are.
Right.
There is.
It's
is,
not
Is there a
disbanded.
rumor of
Well, there's been a request for a reunion tour, but we have yet to submit the proposal to VH1 Behind the Music to see if they're going to be willing to film it. One night only, songs you know by heart tour with the band.
I'm not sure there's a big enough facility to handle a Good Bottom reunion.
Yeah, it's called the O'Connell Center. We could easily do it there.
Well, you know what'll be great though is because we now have Whiskey Jones, and you're familiar with the concept of sidemen.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we can get the guys from Whiskey Jones who actually know how to play.
Right.
We'll put them as sidemen.
Right.
Then we can be up there pretending like we're playing. We get all 9 of us.
Yes.
Yeah, there was a lot of us in the
There's
band.
a lot.
Yeah, and we can actually put on some good music. With,
See, I don't think that's true. I think Good Bottom was the name of the band that we are in together. We've been on a bit of a break, a hiatus, one might
March
say.
of 19.
We're all in we're doing our solo act
Pandemic.
stuff, our solo
Yes,
career.
your solo
stuff.
careers,
Solo
yes.
solo stuff. We had our moments though, dude. God, we played.
Oh, it was a blast.
Musically, no.
We guess we did. That's not true. We
Yeah.
had plenty of moments.
He and I,
Well,
you're a good singer. The lead, Chris Town, the lead guitarist, is a great guitarist.
Brian's a good singer. Brian played guitar very well. We didn't allow plug in. 'cause
we
you were
made
walking
him.
around.
We most of the time we made him sing and play guitar because I was out. I don't know what I
You
was
were on
doing.
a fishing
I was.
boat. You were
Lord only knows where.
somewhere with 30 minutes ago. You called me and said you're not going to be here.
So usually we put Brian in the position
Man,
of
cutting
not only does
deep.
he have to play rhythm guitar, he has to sing every song in the entire gig, and that gets a little much for somebody.
I'll
that,
never forget my first rehearsal night that I showed up at your house.
Rehearsal or your first?
Practice.
The first time you played.
The first time I came to play with you guys.
Okay.
And I walk up the stairs into your attic space area, right, where you were all set up. And I was like, "Hey, what's up?" I said hi to everybody and stuff. And then you guys were like, "So what do you want to sing?" You said, "What do you want to sing?" And I was like, "I don't know. I don't know." And you you just started listing all the songs that you hated singing. So you were like, "Hey, do you think you could sing this Queen song?" I was like, "No, I can't sing Queen. No, I can't."
You know what it was? Steelers Wheel. The Steelers Wheel. I
Was.
hated singing
And you were like,
Steelers
"Hey,
Wheel.
how about can you play this? How about can you sing this?" I was like, "No, I can't sing that either." How about Tom Petty? I can sing Tom Petty.
Yeah.
So it was trial by fire a bit, but
It was
we
fun.
had fun in those.
We had fun.
I missed that stuff, man.
Yeah.
We had a good time.
May 28th is late night delivery at Celebration Point,
They're
and Dirks Bentley is Friday night at the Knockin' Boots Saloon.
Does Dirk Bentley know you're advertising his show?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know.
I would
I
like
thought
to
that was a pretty.
disclaim-
Wait, can we get in trouble for that? We can't get in trouble.
I think that was a pretty big gig. Dirks Bentley. He's a pretty big act, didn't he?
I don't know, but I have insurance to cover myself for all these things that we say on the show.
Maybe.
Okay. Do you know somebody who can maybe hook me up?
Elio
Something?
does.
Yeah, okay, great.
So
yeah,
don't
okay.
sue us. Sue Elio.
I am under the influence.
He's got
most of the time,
coverage.
too, that-
So anyway, Lane Hardy on Saturday night. I don't know who that person is.
I don't either.
But I found that on the Sister Hazel live music update. Okay, we're running out of time.
no, we're gonna be gone.
Our Town Senior Times article of the week. What's going on in the Our Town? I saw the cover. It was
New
your
issue just
beautiful
came out.
daughter.
Yeah. So they just came out. If you guys have seen it, hopefully they're in most of your mailboxes. It's all about pets and animals. So yes, Lauren is on the cover. We mentioned this last week. We are still trying to get Eve adopted. So if you have any interest in that, Faithful Friends is an organization that she fosters dogs through. But yeah, we had a great spread. I do want to mention briefly this how-to guide that's running in the upcoming edition. This features 58 local businesses. And the how-to guide really is essentially to teach you guys on how to choose everything from how to choose the right dentist to how to choose a roofer to how to choose an insurance agent, actually. So lots of great content, and these are all stories that are written by our town and then sponsored by a local business. So we'll be featuring these on our Facebook page. So a great thing you guys could do is go to our Facebook page and like us. And then every day for the next 58 days, we'll be featuring one of these great businesses as our how-to expert of the day. So it's in the current edition right now, and it was a really, really big success. We're really happy for all the businesses that helped us out. It's kind of what it looks like.
Hopefully, Lauren got paid a lot of money to be on
Listen,
the cover. I am her agent, and I am now
you get your
brokering the
cut?
deal.
Did you get your
Yes.
cut?
Well, no, I don't. I work for free. She's such a special person. I know Lauren worked at the state attorney's office and did a great job there. But Lauren's such a special person. I'm going to do it gratis. But I think
you're gonna.
she needs more money.
I think she's
She
doing
needs a raise.
just fine. I think she's
Well,
doing okay.
I
But she did graciously donate her time to this, and I'm sure we'll work it out some other way.
Lauren, we need to talk. Don't do that again.
Food or
it
rent
is,
or
yes. I'm sure it's
something.
costing a fortune. All right. So we also got to get the IT Pro TV Tech tip of the week. So today's tip is called Password Hygiene, and it's hard to overstate the importance of your passwords and their impact on the security of your company and your data. So this means you have to be careful about how you remember them, as well as where and how you input them. Hint, Charlie, a sticky note next to the monitor is not the place
Says password.
to put your password. Do you do
Okay.
that?
No, man. I have what everybody else does.
You have a
I
password manager?
I have like a little note that I have on my phone with all my passwords.
Big no-no.
So
See,
if
I
you-
just walked you right down the path into big no-no. You can't do that. So this is why it's important that every computer is locked when left unattended.
Doesn't happen.
And especially if the browser or any other applications have their access credentials remembered by your device. There are many password management tools out there, and they are well worth the investment. In fact, many are free for small businesses and individuals. So go check them out. So, password hygiene. Take care of it. Thanks to our friends at IT Pro TV for that tip. If you know someone who is looking for a career in technology, or if your business needs to upskill the IT team, IT Pro TV is your resource. They have nearly 6,000 hours of IT training that you'll actually enjoy watching. And visit itpro.tv, that's itpro.tv, and use the code PREMIUMTIME to save 30% off your personal membership. itpro.tv and use code PREMIUMTIME.
Dude, speaking of cybercrime, did you see the pipeline thing, right?
Yes, I was going to.
Is that still down?
I think it is down, and
Like Russian hackers hacked a pipeline?
yes, and I will tell you, my experience from insuring businesses, this kind of stuff happens way more than you realize.
I saw a news report this week that said that last year there was $350 million paid in small ransoms of 10 grand or less to small businesses.
And there is insurance for that stuff. So just saying, if you have a small business and you don't have any cyber coverage, I would suggest you look into it.
Okay, I have an
because
unrelated insurance question though, seriously.
Yeah.
I wrote this on here for the side hustle. Have you heard of, ride sharing, right? Where you can go to YouTube.
Total.
Yeah, so like there is now a service where you can do, you can rent somebody's personal vehicle as opposed to using a rental car service. And people are making income as a side hustle to rent their vehicle on the weekends, for example.
Yep.
What do you, how
Better have some insurance for that.
does that work?
It doesn't if you don't have.
Yeah, how does that work
if
from
it
how do you
crashes.
insure that?
So Turo actually insures it while it's being rented.
Okay.
So they have a plan. I've never had a claim with that situation, so I don't know exactly how your car insurance is going to work with Turo's insurance.
You don't mean mine, because mine's covered because you take care of that for me.
Right, but if you go out and
But
rent,
somebody else means.
if you go rent your Miata to be driven on the weekend,
I do not have a Miata.
You can try and
what is
tell the world you don't have a Miata.
I mean, I might be the kind of guy who might have a Miata. I don't disagree with
if
that.
you go rent that over the weekend and use Turo,
like that a little
there's
too
an
much.
insurance program, but I don't know how it's going to work with the blending of the two. So call my office before
You do
rent
that.
the Miata to somebody else.
I don't have a Miata.
And we'll go get that answer.
I do. I do fancy an arugula salad from time to time, but
We know you're Metro. He's way more Metro than we are, and we
say
tease
that.
him about that all the time, which is actually great.
did we give Brian? We didn't give Brian enough time to talk, did we?
Yes.
Oh, well, it's coming up right now. It's on the agenda.
Oh, good.
All right, go ahead. We have
Charity of the week.
Charity of the Week.
Oh, yeah. Pay Center
Sorry.
for Girls.
Thank you. Golly, I can't read. So, Charity of the Week, Pace Center for Girls. I know you guys work with Pace Center a lot,
do.
and we wanted to give them a shout out.
Yes, absolutely. And I wanted to tell you, one of the main reasons why I like my PACE is my charity is that if you want to see your dollars that you have earned and you are willing to invest in a charity work in your community, then you want to give to PACE Alachua. Okay? So PACE is statewide and moving into Georgia, but PACE Alachua, that money goes here and it stays in our community. And let me tell you, our office has been a supporter of PACE from the very beginning. We have had a board member on PACE board essentially since its inception here in Alachua County, who works in my office. We still do, and we contribute financially, the state attorney's office, to PACE through our deferred prosecution program. So if somebody gets in trouble and they have to make a charitable donation as a part of their getting out of trouble, part of that goes to PACE Center for Girls. But a lot of people don't know what PACE is, and they don't know why it really is so effective within our community. So PACE is a year-round middle and high school. Okay.
See at the bottom.
Yes, that's right. It's a year-round middle and high school, and it is what we call trauma-informed and gender-responsive. So there are lots of programs for young men who have trouble in their life, right? There are very few that are gender-responsive programs, meaning they are focused on the issues that affect young women. And PACE is also what we call trauma-informed, which means they are trained, they are prepared to meet the needs of young women who have suffered sometimes incredibly difficult traumas in their life. And there are very few organizations that are really prepared to do that. And so it's a school, they're there in the school, they're with the PACE teachers, and it is, and unfortunately it's a very limited resource. They can't take every girl who they would like to take, and it's limited by the money that they can generate through the community. And they have they have a golf tournament and a luncheon that are wonderful and raise a bunch of money, but it's really
not enough.
There's just never enough. I mean, there's so many girls who need their services. But listen, if you think, gosh, I could give money to someone and I don't know what it's going to go to, I'm not sure how it's going to be used, what's going to happen, you can see it. You can go drive by the school. It's got a large physical plan. And they have proven their concept. It works. And here's just a couple of things. PACE girls double the rate of high school graduation for girls similar situated. Oh no, 91% of them will improve academically in the school, and 95% of them will have no involvement with the criminal justice system. Okay, and 94% of them will be in school, in a college, or working a job. 1 year after they matriculate from PACE. And
that's amazing.
If you think
that's incredible.
If you think about the amount of, if you want to improve your community and you want your community, you want to be able to really save resources. That's what PACE is doing. They are saving people who then are contributors to society instead of being a burden on society. Right. And I just can't think of a better way that people can invest their money in our community. And for a group of young women who need it more than anyone that we would know.
I know Mary Wise just did a golf tournament for PACE, and she's been a long-time supporter of PACE. And I'm sure Mary Wise is watching the show.
So because she's not busy.
She's not busy doing anything. So thank you, Mary Wise, for all the stuff that you do and your organization does for PACE, and thanks to the state attorney's office, because I wasn't aware of. I knew of PACE. I knew of the program, but I was not aware that that's a crazy 95% of them once they go through they never go back to.
Just to put it this way, these people are very good at what they do. Is really what it comes down to. They're very, very good at what
that's
they
incredible.
Do.
And Brian Kramer's very good at what he does. So I want to thank you very much for being here and joining us on the show today.
Thanks,
I want to thank
so much fun.
Everybody out there for watching. Make sure that you like Premium Time with John Darr on Facebook. Subscribe to the YouTube channel and like it on LinkedIn. I want to also thank the Fiesta Media for putting together an awesome podcast production. Hey, we didn't get arrested today. It's a miracle. So thanks so much for watching.
You know who to call when you do.
We do. Thanks so much for watching. Have a wonderful day.
Have a comment.
We have a comment.
Yeah, it says,
So Rebecca is saying thank you. I'll put it over here.
Thank you, Mary Wise,
Nice.
Brian Kramer, and the Eighth Judicial for your support of PACE. Nice.
Shout out to BK.
Are we still on? We're still on.
Oh, we're
you didn't
still-
even How long do we have, Elio? Can we just keep talking, or we're done?
Also, dude, I got to tell you right now, this word password hygiene, no bueno. I don't ever want to hear that again.
No?
That sounds. I don't want to hear the word hygiene. in
Really?
that. No.
You don't like that word?
It's kind of gross. We're still live?
We're still live.
I mean, that's fine. I could say that loud. That's kind of like it. Like you said it, I got like a face. I was like, hygiene. Password hygiene? That sounds like
Are you done?
Like a dirty word password. Which, by the way, is a good idea.
Dirty
Only
word password?
Only dirty word password.
Unless you work in an office where you have an IT director.
Right, and he actually sees your password.
And then you have to tell him. Yeah, that's embarrassing.
Yeah. Hey, man, I need you to get into my email.
Here's
What's
my
your password?
Let me write my password down for you because I can't say it. Here it is. It's
Yeah.
right It's right there. That's it.
Hey, Heather Jones was watching. I want to say thanks to Heather Jones in the state attorney's office for watching too. So I met her. She's awesome.
Okay, I'm done. Sorry.
Are you done?
I'm done now.
Is there anything else you would like to say?
Go Gators.
Go Gators. All right. There we go. Hey, everybody. Have a good rest of the week. Again, thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you next time on Premium Time with John Darr.